5 steps of applying and studying in the United States. Number 1 is researching your options. Under researching your options is finding your best fit. The best fit is a school that really matches who you are, that matches your profile. When I say who you are, I'm talking about your academic performance. Your activity list, if you are an S6 graduate, what have you been doing inside school and outside school? Are you an athlete? Are you a creative? Have you been teaching yourself anything outside school? Do you have any commitments? Taking care of your family member is a commitment in the United States. So the activity list, I have to understand who you are in that regard. For graduate students, do you have any experience? Internship is experience, for those that don't know that. So they want to see, that's where the schools will ask you for a resume. So resumes, they want to basically see what have you been doing. For those that are going to do for a master's or doctorate, you can include in research projects that you've done under your maybe undergraduate studies. Maybe you've been a research assistant with a certain professor at any schools in Uganda. You can include that. And also when I talk about who you are, I talk about your recommendation letters. Have you talked to your current bosses or maybe former bosses if you're a graduate student? Or maybe have you talked to your current teachers or lecturers? Or maybe teachers at school if you're an undergraduate student? They need to recommend you, but the whole end game of a recommendation letter is for the recommender to market you that you are a holistic student. Because schools in the United States look at a holistic review. They use the holistic review policy to actually admit and select students for scholarships. So that means that they look at academic excellence as the number 1 thing, but it's not the only thing they look at. So you get to understand all that. You get to find a school that matches who you are rather than you actually matching yourself to a school maybe because it's popular. You'll find that most of the students want to apply maybe to Harvard, maybe to Yale, but are actually those schools matching who you are? So you get to understand all that. I encourage you to understand that Education USA want to do the hands-on process for you. Our role is to guide you, okay? You select the schools, you tell me, Ezra, I've selected these schools. This is why I have selected them, because I've given you the criteria elements to actually base on to select those schools. Then I can advise you, tell you, okay, based on who you are, I would advise you to take these schools. And also the second step is how to finance your studies. That's a very important step as a Ugandan student that you should really consider, and that's one of the criteria elements that I will tell you as you research your options to find a school that actually can assist you with financial aid. So financial aid is a general term that includes scholarships, student loans from universities, that includes assistantships for master's students and PhD students, that includes fellowships, that includes work-study opportunities. You really need to understand the element of work-study, because you'll find that work-study for an F1 student visa, you can't work full-time. So hence, you shouldn't base on it as a way that you will source your funding for your studies in the United States. It can take care of your living expenses, but it can't take care of the full tuition. And also the other thing to understand about the USA is at least every school that is accredited to host international students, it's mandated to give them a certain provision of financial assistance. And that's something that you don't find in any other countries all over the world. So that's why I really encourage you to try your luck and really apply through Education USA and apply to the US, because at the end of it all, the US still stays the leading destination for international students. So you should really try out that. So basically, the third step is always completing your application. The fourth step is applying for your visa. If you've gotten into a school, the school will give you what we call the certificate of non-immigrant students, maybe, or individuals. That is what we call an I-20 form. So an I-20 form is what you use to actually apply for a visa here in Uganda. So you go to the US Embassy website, and then you understand what are the steps of applying for the visa. Or you can send me an email at kampala@educationusa.org. You send me an email, then I give you the steps with the links for your visa application. But when you have a dependent, now that gets into another aspect and another element of your application. That means that if you're going under F1 visa, then your dependents will be going on F2. However, I would encourage you to first travel and go and, understand the system and, the study process and living in the United States, because you have to provide proof that you're able to actually take care of these dependents that you're going with. So I would encourage you to actually first travel alone, fulfill your purpose, and then you see how the life is, and you also understand, do you have the capabilities of moving with your dependents? That's very important for you to note. First of all, I would like to first appreciate EduServe. You're really doing a great job out there making outreaches, supporting students in different ways. So Education USA, as I told you, I do outreaches. I'm the outreach coordinator of the US Embassy. So we do outreaches to universities, schools. Definitely, if I can't reach you in an outreach, you have my email. It's kampala@educationusa.org. That's our email for Education USA for Kampala. And also, the American Center is an open space. You can come in at any time. All you need is an ID. Go to the reception with your ID. Tell them I'm going to the American Center. It's on level 5 on Embassy Plaza building on Gaba Road. You just come to level 5 and then you ask for Education USA advisor. I would encourage you that you first prioritize attending the group session. You first get introduced to the whole Education USA and what it is to apply and study in the United States. Then after, that's when you can have one-on-ones with the advisor, but after you've understood the whole process. Maybe the last remarks is to really follow the US Embassy pages. That is US Embassy Kampala on Facebook, US Mission on X, former Twitter, and also visit their website, US Mission. You will see it on Google. Just go there and really have a feel of what the US Embassy has to support Ugandan people, what it has invested in, for example, through its Education USA service, and what we do. You can also go to the official Education USA website, educationusa.state.gov. That's where you'll find all the information about Education USA. That's where you'll find all the 5 steps. It's really interesting stuff, so I would encourage you to really visit that website as well. Yes, and the other thing I would... Exactly. If you're a high school student, you're in holidays, reach out to the American Center, reach out to our email at kampala@educationusa.org. So the US government has what we call people-to-people exchanges, you see. So this is one way the US government has really invested in the Ugandan people. The whole process is to connect Ugandan people, Ugandan youth to the United States. Make them understand the culture of the Americans and also Americans understanding the culture of Ugandans. And these exchanges, some of them are academic, some of them are professional exchanges. So we have the yearly, that is always in Kenya, hosted at University of Kenyatta. That always comes out. Apply for it. Like I told you, just stay in touch with the US Embassy digital platforms and see these adverts and apply for them. It's actually for, people in between the age of 19 to 24. That means that most of the target audience of EduServe would really be eligible for it. And also there's what we call Mandela Washington Fellowship. So Mandela Washington Fellowship is a flagship program of the yearly. So it's an 8 months, six months program in the United States. Professional enrichment for, really good professionals in Uganda. So I would also encourage you to apply for it because it comes out, I think, around August. So apply for it, and each year at least around 24-25 people go to the United States under that program. You can apply for it. It's targeting the youth that are really highly competitive and selective. And then there is an academic exchange program that is called the Fulbright Foreign Students Program. That is fully funded through the US Embassy, and it supports master's students and PhD students. It comes out from January to March. I can promise you that the advert will always be there. So apply and stay competitive. You can stand a chance of getting a fully funded scholarship in the United States through the US Embassy.